Hi, preschool friends. We are going to talk about weather today and about severe weather. Before I get started, though, do you guys notice where I'm at? I'm in our preschool room. I'll move over so you guys can kind of see, or maybe I'll move over here. I know you miss preschool. I miss it so much. But like I said, we're going to talk about weather today. And severe weather. So severe weather means weather that's not so nice to be outside in. So the title of this book is called Wild Weather Around the World. Weather. When you look outside, you can tell what the weather is. Some days it's raining, other days the sun is shining bright. Weather tells us what is happening in our planet's atmosphere. Atmosphere. The atmosphere is huge. It surrounds the Earth. That means that there can be a lot of different kinds of weather happening at the same time all across the world. It might be sunny in California, but it could be raining in Japan. So the atmosphere is kind of like up in the sky. It goes all around the Earth. Kinds of weather. There are lots of types of weather. You might not see certain types of weather where you live because it depends on climate. So if you live near the equator, you might not see as much snow because it's pretty hot there all year. Still, lots of weather happens every day, everywhere. Take a look at some of the wild weather on our planet. Temperature. Should you wear shorts or a sweater? Temperature tells us how hot or cold it is. Some places are hot all year round, while others are almost always covered in ice, like Antarctica. Many places have changing seasons with cool springs and falls and warmer summers and cold winters. So that's what we have. We have 4 different seasons. Fall, and it's kind of chilly. And we have winter, and it's cold. And then spring, when it starts to warm up. And then summer, when it's warm. So the first type of weather we're going to talk about is a thunderstorm. Can you guys think about a time when there was a thunderstorm? So thunderstorms, when the warm air rises, so when warm air goes up and cold air sinks down, a thunderstorm forms. The small bits of ice and water that form in the clouds during a thunderstorm crash together and cause a bright flash called lightning. The lightning heats the air, causing an increase in the pressure, which forces a shock wave to move from where the lightning was. Thunder is the sound of the wave moving. Thunderstorms can also bring wind, hail, tornadoes, and lots of rain. Thunderstorms usually form in cumulus clouds. They are larger and taller than most other clouds in the sky. So, a thunderstorm. It happens when some warm air that's down by us starts going up, and the cold air in the top and the clouds comes down. And that warm air and the cold air, they're fighting and fighting and fighting, and they're crashing into each other. And it gets loud. It makes the thunder and the lightning. So that is what a thunderstorm is. And I always like to remind my preschool friends that during a thunderstorm, it's a good idea to go inside. And when you're inside, lightning, thunder, it can't hurt you. It can't get you. You're safe in your house. Now, it might surprise you. You might be in your house and you might hear it and you might go, huh, that surprised me. But then think in your head, okay, it's just thunder. It's the hot and the air, the hot and the cold air working against each other, and that's what's making the noise. So do you have to be scared of thunder and lightning? No, it'll be okay. Your parents will keep you safe. Your adults that you're with will keep you safe. Just remember, inside is the safest place to be during a thunderstorm. You might be surprised, but you don't have to be scared. Tornado. Tornadoes form from thunderstorms when warm, wet air and cool, dry air meet. The spinning tower of air that results is a tornado. Tornadoes move quickly. The wind speeds of a tornado can reach up to 300 miles per hour. The most powerful tornadoes can be more than a mile wide. Their strong winds can cause lots of damage. The widest tornado ever seen formed in Hallam, Nebraska in 2004. The tornado measured 2.5 miles across, so that was in Nebraska where we live. Okay, so let's talk about tornadoes for a little bit. Tornadoes can be dangerous. They're serious, but your adults are going to keep you safe. On phones and on TVs, the weathermen can send out an alert to your adults that you're going to be with, telling you, hey, the weather's kind of getting bad. There maybe could be a tornado. And when that happens, your adult is going to take you to a safe place in your house. Sometimes that may be a basement. If you have a basement, that's the safest place. Try to find a room without any windows. But if you don't have a basement, then find a room that's kind of in the center of your house that doesn't have windows. That's going to be the safest thing. And when you get to your safe spot, your moms and dads or any adult that you're with might ask you to get down low and cover your head. Okay? Because things might break and fall if there was a tornado. Now, I know that might make you feel a little nervous, but just remember the adults are going to keep you safe. We will get a warning on our phone and on our TV that says, hey, get to your safe spot. So, now just because there's a thunderstorm, where did my thunderstorm page go? Just because there's a thunderstorm, that does not mean it's going to make a tornado. Tornadoes usually don't happen in a thunderstorm, okay? So like I said, thunderstorms, you might be surprised, but don't be scared. Tornadoes are serious, but your adults will keep you safe. They'll take you to your safe spot. The next thing we're going to talk about is a hailstorm. Hail falls when ice crystals are formed high up in the clouds. As the hail starts to fall, strong winds push the ice back up into the clouds. And the hailstones grow bigger each time this happens until they are too heavy to be pushed back up into the cloud. Hail usually occurs in the summer during thunderstorms. The largest hailstone ever found fell during a storm in Nebraska in 2003. The hailstone measured 7 inches across, which is about the size of a soccer ball. Oh my goodness. So that was in Nebraska too. So hail could happen during a thunderstorm, and it's really loud when it hits. So that's another thing. It might surprise you when you hear it, but you don't need to be scared. Go inside. It cannot get you. It might be loud because it's hitting things, but if you're inside, it cannot hurt you. And once again, who's going to help keep you safe? Your adults. Next, we're going to talk about a blizzard. A blizzard means cold winds and lots of snow in a short amount of time. A blizzard usually leaves deep piles of snow, and during the storm it can be very hard to see. Blizzards happen in cold climates, usually in the winter. It is often below 32 degrees when a blizzard forms. In 1888, one of the biggest blizzards in history dropped about 22 inches of snow on New York City in just 36 hours. Each snowflake can be made up of about 200 ice crystals. So, you may have seen a blizzard. That happens in the wintertime. It's when we get lots and lots of snow. Once again, inside's the safest place to be during a blizzard. If you're outside, it might be hard to see. You'll be very cold. So staying inside is the safest place to be during a blizzard. Flood. A flood happens sometimes when it rains. Water is soaked up by the soil or falls into the lakes, ocean, ponds, and rivers. If there is too much rain and the earth cannot hold any more water, it can cause a flood. Floods can also happen after hurricanes or when lakes and rivers overflow. In 1973, one of the largest floods ever recorded happened in Vicksburg, Mississippi because of too much rain. The water flowed quick enough to fill over 200 Olympic-sized swimming pools in a second. Oh my goodness. So sometimes we do see floods here in Nebraska after it rains a lot. One thing that I want to tell you about a flood is you never ever want to go into the water. So like here is a flood that's in a town. You see how the stop sign's in the water? So we know underneath that water is a road, maybe some sidewalks. So even though you think you know what's under that water, do not go into a flood. The water could be moving very quickly and very strong, and we don't want you to get pushed over by that water. So it's okay to go swimming in like a lake or a pond or a swimming pool if you're with mom and dad or you're whoever you were with that day. But a flood is different than that. A flood is when water is where it's not supposed to be, not where it usually is. We do not want to mess with the floodwaters. A drought. A drought can happen when there is not enough rain for a long period of time. Droughts usually happen in hot weather, leaving the ground dry. Droughts can last for weeks or even years in some places. Scientists think that over the past 3,000 years, some droughts in Western Africa have lasted decades or even centuries. So, in a drought, it usually means the weather's super hot and we're not getting enough rain. This can happen in Nebraska. The thing you want to be watching out for in a drought is it might be really hot, so you might need to be going inside a little bit more than usual. The ground's cracking because it's so thirsty for some water. Fog. Fog is formed when tiny drops of water, which are light enough to hang in the air, come together. Clouds in the sky are formed the same way, but fog hangs low in the atmosphere. Fog usually forms when warm air moves over the cold ground. So we've seen fog before. And the only thing to watch out about fog is sometimes it's hard to see. So for adults, when we drive, we have to be very careful because we can't see as well. Rainbow. Sometimes after a storm, you'll see a rainbow. When light passes through raindrops in just the right way, a rainbow is formed. Rainbows can be seen almost anywhere on the earth. Ireland and Hawaii are famous for having many rainbows a year because these places get a lot of rain. I bet you guys have seen a rainbow before. I just seen one last week and I got a really cool picture of it. I'll try to remember to share it with you guys. From storms and rainbows to blizzards and fires, the world is filled with amazing weather we can see it changing every day. What kind of weather do you think you'll see tomorrow? So, we talked about a lot of weather, but the things I really want you to remember, preschool friends, is your adults will keep you safe. And in weather, if there's severe weather, being inside is the safest place you can be. And like I said, things like thunder and lightning and wind and hail, they can't hurt you in your house. They might surprise you. You might go, huh, I didn't know I was going to do that. But just remember to stay calm. Your adults will keep you safe. And sometimes when there's severe weather going on and it's making you maybe a little bit nervous, find something to take your mind off of it. Maybe read a book. You could play a game. You could sing a song. Lots of things that you could do when severe weather is going on and you have to be inside. We'll see you next time, preschool friends.